Howdy, folks, and welcome to another episode of Breakfast with BD, your mid-morning motivation to help you tackle your week with energy and positivity, where I dig into leadership, into performance, and discuss the big topics over a cup of coffee or your drive into work. Thank you, everyone that's been listening to the previous episodes. We're starting to gain some traction. And if you've enjoyed the show, please feel free to like, subscribe to the channels, whether it's YouTube or Spotify, and share with your friends who you may feel needs a little bit of mid-morning motivation. And let's keep this momentum rolling. But today is a controversial one, and we're tackling a quote from Bill Belichick. And Bill Belichick is widely regarded as one of the greatest NFL coaches in history, known for not only his strategic brilliance, but his disciplined approach and his adaptability. He's led the New England Patriots to 6 Super Bowl victories and numerous AFC championships. His coaching style is that no-nonsense, highly focused on preparation, on game planning, and in-game adjustments, making him an absolute legendary figure in American football. So what's the quote, you ask? What are we tackling today? What is today's discussion? It's stats are for losers.
You know how I feel about stats. Really, stats are for losers. Final scores for winners. And that's really what it's about.
Now, this comment has stirred up a lot of conversation, especially amongst athletes, analysts, and business leaders. So what does it really mean? How does it apply to life? How does it apply to business and leadership? We're going to dive into all of that. And as usual, I'm going to give you some practical takeaways that you may be able to implement, whether you're leading a team, running your own business, or just trying to navigate life. So let's break down what Bill Belichick is really saying. On the surface, the statement may seem like an attack on analytics and performance metrics, which, as you all know, are becoming increasingly important in sport, in business, and almost every competitive industry. But what I want to do is take a step back, because Bill Belichick isn't new to stats. He knows all the game, season, and career numbers as well as anyone else. So why did he say stats are for losers? It's because it's about focus. In Bill Belichick's mind, the overemphasis on stats can take away from the bigger picture. Wins are what matter. If you're putting up great stats but not winning championships, or you're not winning competitive business, what's the point? What he's doing is highlighting the difference between personal glory and team success, something we see everywhere, from seasoned sales teams to Saturday competitions to business startups. So let me bring this to a business context. In sales, it's easy to become obsessed with tracking individual metrics. How many calls, how many deals closed, how many clients acquired. But if your team members are hitting all their individual targets and the company or the business unit is still falling short, then there's something missing. As leaders, we need to help people see beyond the numbers. It's the difference between activity and impact. Are we making moves that lead to real wins? Or are we just padding up our personal stat sheets? So if you take sales teams as an example, sure, you can make 100 calls a day, but if none of those calls convert to new business, does that even matter? The same applies to an organization. Are you focusing too much on the wrong metrics? Or are you helping people connect their personal success to the bigger picture? In leadership, it's crucial to create a culture where the focus is on team success over individual achievement. This doesn't mean stats don't matter, but it does mean they aren't everything. This comment or quote from Bill Belichick pushes us to ask, what are we really measuring? As a leader, think about how you can set your team up to view success. Are you celebrating individuals for hitting personal targets? Or are you fostering an environment where the ultimate goal is team, state, or business unit wins. At the end of the day, the teams that win are the ones who elevate each other, where success is measured by collective impact, not just individual glory. So where do stats fit in? All right. So does this mean stats are useless? Absolutely not. They are crucial for tracking progress, setting benchmarks, and understanding where we need to improve. However, stats need context. A stat without a story behind it can be totally misleading. Think of it like this. In sales, you might have a rep who always hits their quota. But if they're damaging relationships with clients, burning bridges, and just focusing on short-term wins at the expense of long-term partnerships, those stats lose their value. The same applies to any performance metric. Without context, they're just numbers. So, what can we learn from this quote? Stats are for losers. It's a reminder to keep our eye on the bigger picture. Yes, stats matter, but they're a means to an end, not the end itself. As leaders, we need to help our teams understand that success is about more than just individual performance. It's about achieving something greater together. The best leaders use stats as a tool, not as a crutch. They encourage people to see beyond the numbers and focus on winning in a way that benefits everyone. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. I know that was a lot to take in. But remember, it's not just about how you perform on paper. It's how you perform when it matters most. If you've enjoyed today's discussion, hit subscribe. Share it with someone who you feel might need a little leadership insight with their morning coffee. But until next time,